Welcome to the Savvy Shopkeeper Retail Podcast. I'm your host, Kathy Cruz. Just like you, I'm an independent retail business owner. I love the home decor and gift boutique I co-own with my sister, but I don't want it to consume me or my life. Join me each week as I share lessons learned, helpful tips, and valuable information for your retail business and life. Whether you're buying your products or making your products, whether you're a $25K business or a $2.5 million business, I'm on a mission to help indie retailers work less, profit more, and grow. Let's get started on today's episode. Welcome to episode 147 of the Savvy Shopkeeper Retail Podcast. Making hard decisions in business. I'm your host, Kathy Cruz. It's funny because I am recording this the day before Thanksgiving, and we have no water in my house because a water line broke, and we're hosting Thanksgiving tomorrow. I left my store yesterday feeling like there was still so much to do. Luckily, my sister and my nephew are in there today as I record this. And we'll be ready for the whole weekend, Black Friday, Small Business Saturday. But today I just think like I feel a little off in terms of being prepared for the next 5 days, especially tomorrow, not knowing what's going to happen with our water line and all that stuff. Just to share, because sometimes I feel like I might come across as polished and I get everything done and nothing's wrong. And that's not the case. You know, I have some struggles and I don't always hit it out of the ballpark. And, you know, life happens, like the situation that we're in now. But I joked with a friend and said, it's fine. Everything's going to be fine, right? Like sometimes we just tell ourselves it's okay. But I am sitting here today thinking, well, I don't need water in my home to record 4 podcast episodes, which is what I'm doing. This is the second one I'm recording today. And I think you just sometimes have to move forward with things, right? So anyhow, let's move on to this episode. I'm here to talk about making hard decisions, right? I'm sure you could tell from the title of this episode. And the decision to add something in our businesses, it often feels fun, right? Like if you're like, I'm going to start offering workshops, or I'm going to start offering this custom sign or service, or we're going to start doing events again in our store now that, you know, some of the restrictions from the pandemic are hopefully past us, right? Those things can feel fun and exciting and exploratory. And yes, of course, it can require some hard work and initial load of tasks on our to-do list. But how different does it feel when you cut something out of your business, when you remove a revenue stream, when you eliminate a service or an offer that maybe some of your customers have become accustomed to? We start to worry. Maybe we have to explain it to our customers, you know, why we're choosing to eliminate that part of our business. We wonder, what will it do to our bottom line? We worry about judgment. We worry about disappointing others, you know, all of the emotions that come with these tough decisions. This episode is titled Making Hard Decisions because these types of decisions to cut stuff out from our businesses, it can feel hard. Maybe not all the time. Sometimes it feels really good to set boundaries or to cut things out. But most oftentimes, I can tell from conversations with shopkeepers that a decision like this can feel challenging. And as much as I work on my own mindset, I never want to act like I have perfected doing hard things or that I don't feel emotion in my own businesses. My intention for this episode is to share some of the good that can come from making hard decisions in business. So I recently announced that I'm closing the Shopkeepers Lab membership group. This means moving forward, I offer and host only one group membership, and that's Master Shopkeepers. Even though I did my due diligence during the decision process, this was still a really hard decision for me. I took my time with this decision. I spent the past 6 to 12 months really thinking about this. I had several conversations with trusted people in my life. I looked at how many members truly utilize the Shopkeepers Academy. I looked at engagement. I looked at participation in the group. I looked at feedback that I've been receiving from some of the people who chose to leave the Shopkeepers Lab membership. And that is usually there's a term for it. It's called churn. Like, what is the churn rate? How often are people coming in and leaving? I looked at that. I looked at a lot. And one of the biggest problems I was causing with 2 memberships is I was causing confusion and indecision. For me, that was a problem because this is the last thing I want to do. And then I also considered a variety of alternatives. Like, do I really need to close the group? Could I do this instead? Could I offer this instead? And in the end, my findings just didn't support keeping this group open. I feel confident that this was the right thing to do, but goodness, our minds can really mess with us leading up to a decision like this. And sometimes it can be a little bit grueling, like, mentally. So in today's short episode, I want to acknowledge this, especially if you're in the middle of making a hard decision for yourself or your own business. I don't want you to feel alone, particularly if you're in the middle of something like this. Or if maybe you find that you're in this position down the road after I've published this podcast episode, and I can point you to this episode to help you during the process. So anyhow, I went live in the lab group, it was in the Facebook group, to announce my decision. And my brain, because of all of the thinking and the whole process leading up to it, my brain was just really preoccupied with the actual decision and announcement process. Like, for me to go live in the group, that was really important to me because I didn't want to record something. I usually go live in the group, so why would that be different this time? So the announcement process and communicating this decision, it kind of consumed me a bit. So I didn't think of some other things, and that's what I'm going to share. I'm going to share 4 other things that I didn't consider leading up to the announcement. This episode is brought to you by my free resource, Tools of the Retail Trade Resource Guide, a 28-page downloadable resource filled with software, tools, and equipment recommendations just for brick-and-mortar retail store owners. Learn what I use and what other store owners are using. Visit savvyshopkeeper.com/resources. That's savvyshopkeeper.com/resources and sign up for my newsletter to get the guide. So number 1 is, for some reason, I didn't consider that it would be relatable, that there were other small business owners, other shopkeepers who were in the middle of also making hard decisions. For some reason, I was just like in this little island, just thinking about myself and what I needed to do and get done. And then I loved when I made the announcement that somebody said it was such a tough decision because they were in a similar situation and had to make a tough decision as well. She said it was such a tough decision, but it will help me streamline operations and make for a better customer experience. It is a bit overwhelming, but one step at a time. That was how she felt in her own situation. Someone else said I had to make the decision early this year to close my small online membership group. The freedom it gave me to focus on other things was worth it. I know it doesn't compare, but you're going to feel so much better on the other side. So again, I just want to share that other people are experiencing this too. And for me, it felt like I was so alone during the process that it was nice to see that other people were also going through this. Not that I wish hard times on anyone or hard decisions on anyone, but it just made it feel less lonely. The other thing that I didn't consider is the number of people who would share words of encouragement and gratitude with me. And I really appreciated the number of members who shared those thoughts with me and gave me positive feedback about my decision. Someone said, sometimes we have to step back and reevaluate what is good to make it better. Someone else said, you're such a great example for us with how you shift and pivot for what's best for your clients and you and how it just flows together. That one really meant a lot for me because this decision wasn't just about me. It was about making things really clear for the people, the shopkeepers that come into the Savvy Shopkeeper world. Someone else said, if you caught the live today with Kathy, you just saw firsthand what boundary work looks like. Thank you for your example, Kathy Cruz. Hard decisions are freeing. I hope you feel that. And then they used hashtag expert leader hard at work. So thank you. You know who you are. I appreciated that. And then someone else said, I think this is a great decision and will really allow you to help shopkeepers more. Very impressed with this decision. Someone else said, your passion to streamline efficiency and value will shine in all that you give. And then a couple more statements. Someone said, bossing up, always setting the example. And the last one someone said was, I'm so proud of you. Even to me, this feels like the right decision. I applaud you for drawing lines and understanding where you need to focus. That particular comment meant a lot to me because this is someone who is she really shows up and she logs into the academy. She takes in my content. And I think what she was conveying to me is that the decision to simplify and clarify things for the people in my groups, particularly Master Shopkeepers members, I think that felt good to her too. So that meant a ton to me. Number 3, I was surprised at how I would inspire other people to make the hard decision that they've been sitting on. I received emails and comments from group members who were grateful that I had the courage to make this hard decision because they were also in the middle of making a hard decision. So the first example I gave was someone who was in a similar situation or two people who were in similar situations, but I had already made their decision. I actually inspired them to move forward with making a hard decision. And that means a ton to me because I know I sat on this for a long time. So someone said, I was feeling a little trepidation about it, and then I got your email. Although I was a little sad about your decision, it was strangely validating for me. It was clear to me that you were doing the right thing for you and your business, and I went ahead and posted my for sale sign. This was on a part of her business on Instagram and had 4 inquiries in the first hour. She wasn't selling her brick and mortar business. She was selling another revenue stream in her business. My 2 biggest whys for this decision, again, it was to eliminate confusion and provide shopkeepers with more results. I mentioned this, but there was a lot of confusion, like which group to join. I would get that message all the time. I would get emails. People would use my contact form and they would just feel a little stuck and then no decision was made. That does not serve people coming into the savvy shopkeeper world. And then when they did join, there was confusion about where to go for content. Which group do I post questions in? And then what result would someone get if they joined the lab group? If you were a lab member, you might not have seen some of this indecision or confusion. But if you were a Master Shopkeepers member, or if you were brand new to Savvy Shopkeeper and you visited my website, that's what a lot of people were experiencing. Of course, my intention is never to confuse anyone or cause indecision. This was an unintentional effect. But once I really started to realize it, I knew I needed to address it. This episode is brought to you by my free resource, Open a Brick and Mortar Retail Store Checklist. If you're feeling overwhelmed, I get it. Get my checklist to help you get your thoughts and to-dos organized. Organized by topic, this checklist is the list I wish someone would have given me many years ago when I opened. Visit savvyshopkeeper.com/open checklist, all one word, savvyshopkeeper.com/open checklist. Sign up for my newsletter to get the checklist. And number 4, the last thing that I want to mention is that members of Master Shopkeepers reminded me of one of my biggest whys regarding my decision to close the lab. Master Shopkeepers is where magic happens. It's where I truly show up. It's where members show up. And it's where members get results. They feel less lonely. They get inspired. They get motivated. They get answers and they feel supported. So thank you to the Master Shopkeepers members who reminded me of this after my announcement. Someone said the community inside MSK, that's what we call it for short, the community inside MSK is pure magic, and I highly encourage you to apply. That comfort and support you crave, it's in there. This particular member was answering someone else's question about whether they should join Master Shopkeepers. Someone else said, if you're able to join Master Shopkeepers, do it. The info and resources available are priceless. You will not find it anywhere else. Another member said, MSK is amazing. Even if you haven't opened yet, like me, it is great. Someone else said, I absolutely recommend applying for Master Shopkeepers. I've enjoyed the lab and gotten so much value from it, but the additional resources in Master Shopkeepers and the connections in that Facebook group have been priceless. And the last comment that I want to share, someone said, cannot recommend joining MSK enough. Okay, so it's time to wrap up this episode. If you find yourself in the space of making a tough decision in your business, I understand it can feel hard. However, if I were to summarize the points I made in this episode, because it isn't just me talking about closing the lab, I want to make some points here if you're in the middle of this. 1, know that there are other business owners in the same situation as you. You aren't alone. 2, there are friends, loved ones, customers, team members that will encourage you and cheer you on for your decision. It's almost like get rid of all the fear of judgment and all of that stuff. Embrace the good people in your life who will be cheering you on. 3, you never know who you will inspire when you make hard decisions. And 4 is your business or maybe even your life will most likely be better for it. And you know it, which is why you leaned into this decision in the first place. Moving forward, I think what I've identified is my mission is more clear than ever. If you're here listening to the podcast, if you're a Master Shopkeepers member, if you sign up for one of my programs, it's because you are serious about running a business. You're not a hobbyist, and you're definitely not a jobbyist. The stronger my thoughts get about helping you run a profitable retail business that doesn't consume you, the stronger my teachings become, the stronger your results. If you were a lab member, thank you for being on this journey with me. Many of you have been on this journey with me for years, and you know I adore you. There's so many I've gotten to know so well. This isn't the end of my book because I'm closing a group membership, and it's certainly not the end of your book for that matter. It's just the closing of a chapter. If you want to learn more about Master Shopkeepers, there's just way too much for me to share about it in this episode. You can visit savvyshopkeeper.com/group membership, savvyshopkeeper.com/group membership. I answer all the questions about who it's for, like brick and mortar retail store owners, who it's not for, what you'll get, what's included, pricing, all of that stuff. Again, it's savvyshopkeeper.com/group membership. I'll also have it linked in the show notes. And if you want to see the show notes to this episode or find links to anything I mentioned, visit my blog at savvyshopkeeper.com/episode 147. Hopefully this episode is a reminder to you that you can do hard things and that it's going to be okay. Until the next episode, be savvy and boss up.
If you love chilling mysteries, unsolved cases, and a touch of mom-style humor, Moms and Mysteries is the podcast you've been searching for. Hey guys, I'm Mandy.
And I'm Melissa. Join us every Tuesday for Moms and Mysteries, your gateway to gripping, well-researched true crime stories. Each week, we deep dive into a variety of mind-boggling cases as we shed light on everything from heists to whodunits. We're your go-to podcast for mysteries with a motherly touch. Subscribe now to Moms and Mysteries wherever you get your podcasts.